Hi, this is Dr. Weideman, your instructor for our online class in liberal arts. And this summer is going to be an adventure for all of us. We're using a new learning management system called Desire to Learn, which we abbreviate as D2L. And this short video will introduce you to the D2L course and also to the Mymathlab course. The handout I have right now, I'll show you where that is when we get into D2L, but we're going to go over the information in this handout, and you might want to have it available, printed out even as a guide to you. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the main page of the D2L course. When you first go in here, if there's news, it'll be listed here, if there's announcements and so forth. And the first thing you probably want to do is go ahead and also you can get mail messages up here, and you have alerts and so forth, and so you've got interesting things up there to look at. Click on the Content tab. And if you notice, there's several options here. There's content, we'll talk about this first, and then we'll go to the discussions, the Dropbox we don't use in this course, and then the quiz link. So let's go on to content. And when the content comes up, I'm actually going to put the table of contents up front because I want you to see what that looks like. Here's what the table of contents looks like, which is probably what you'll see when you first go over. And these are all collapsed. So there's, actually they're not. Let's go ahead and collapse everything, so you can see what it looks like collapsed. So collapsed, there's really only 4 sections, or 4 what we call modules in this course. There's a syllabus module. The syllabus you can get from here, and you can also get it from over here. It's the same syllabus. The introductory materials for the course, this is going to be an important folder for you. We're going to go ahead and look at that in a minute. The weekly chat sessions, talk about those in a minute too. You'll find the links here for those. And then the units of study are really the course materials, probably what you'll spend the most time on. If you notice here, there's a progress bar too, and it tells you how many of the topics you've completed. And I'll show you in a minute how you know that that is true when we get into one of the modules. So I will let you click on the syllabus, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the introductory materials. Make sure the syllabus, you print out a copy of that. It's really important that you have that available. So let's go to introductory materials. There's a lot of things in here. There's again a link to the syllabus. There's the video which you're watching right now. There's a handout for the same thing that I'm showing you right here. Here's that handout. Welcome to the online course. Here's a link to my home page at the college. Here's information about the textbook. We're using the Mymathlab, and all you need is the access kit for that. Here's a folder of Mymathlab materials. Let's just click in there for a minute and you can see what's in there. There's a registration guide, there's instructions on registering, and there's a Mymathlab tip sheet. Now if you want to go back to where we were, if we just click back on the introductory materials, it'll take us back up one level. And then we've got testing information. Oh, here, 5 myths about distance learning. Please take a minute and read that. I think it might help you put a distance or an online course in perspective. Proctor testing information. This course does have a proctored midterm and final given on the 4 main campuses. If you need, here's the link to the website that will give you the dates. At the time I put this material together, they didn't have all the information loaded, but it is there on the website. 4 campuses. During the testing time, you don't have to make an appointment. You just go to one of the campuses and take the test there. If you live outside of the area, you're going to need to go ahead and fill out paperwork to get a proctor approved in your area. More information about the testing. And then the last thing in here is a syllabus quiz that you must complete with a score of 100% to be able to access the discussions in the course. So you want to make sure that you work on that early in the first week so that you'll be able to work on, you have 2 discussions actually due. So you want to make sure you're able to get to those. Okay, so let's go back over here, scroll back up, and let's navigate over here, and let's take a look at, oh, and by the way, when you've looked at something in here, let me click on something and then show you what happens. Okay, so now I'm looking at the syllabus. Okay, so let's go back now to introductory materials, and this is now going to be checked off as completed because you've accessed it. It's a little slow today. It's working, but it's just not real fast. Okay, so now you see the little check mark here, so that says you have accessed that one. So every time you access one of these, you'll get a little check mark, and that'll help you keep track of your progress within this module. Okay, let's go to weekly chat sessions. And in here, there's only one thing posted right now, which is our first chat, which is going to be, we're going to have ours on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 7:30. If you have trouble opening it, you might want to click on it and open it in a new window. If you're using Firefox, I don't know if you can see up here, but sometimes you'll see a little block because it doesn't like that website. The website is fine, but if you have trouble accessing it, you might want to remember that it might be being blocked by Firefox. If you're not able to make the chat sessions, the same link will allow you to watch a recording of the chat session. Okay, and now let's go to units of study, which is probably where you're going to spend most of your time. And then within this, I'm going to collapse everything first. Analysis of test answers. Each week after your tests are due in Mymathlab and the due date has passed, I will post an analysis of questions missed by a certain percentage of students. That might help you as you're preparing for the midterm or the final. And let's take a look at a unit folder. So each unit folder is pretty much set up the same way. There's a little banner. It'll have the topics that we're going to cover. It will remind you of the sections of homework. You must get a 60% on your homework to be able to access the test. I'll show you that in Mymathlab in a minute. There are section notes and PowerPoint handouts which you may want to, and again, if you learn much about the course, you can download these to a binder on your own laptop or on your smartphone, your iPad, things like that. But you can print these out. You can just review them in here. That's up to you. But again, a lot of students find those very helpful as they go through the course. Okay, and let's go ahead and collapse again so we don't have so many things opened up. The discussions are here. Now, if you don't see these discussions when you go in, you didn't finish that syllabus quiz with 100%. But there are 2 discussions due during the first 2 weeks, a class intro and a student information survey. So you want to make sure you get that syllabus quiz unlocked so you can get to these activities which are part of the grade for the course. Review and test simply reminds you about the test and that you have to have 60% on the homework. And then each chapter will have additional materials. They might be websites, they might be videos, just all different things. I use a lot of Khan Academy videos in here. So if you're having trouble with the concept, you might want to come in and look at those supplementary materials and see if there's anything there that you might find helpful. Okay, so let's go back up now to the top. And let's take a look at, this will take you back to the course home. Let's take a look at the calendar for the course. And I've loaded in here important dates. The class begins on the 19th. Your first set of due dates is on June 2nd, so I put these in here so it tells you what's due. Chapter 1 and 2, Mymathlab assignments. We have an intro due, and these are the 2 discussions that are due. You can add your own tasks here if you want to keep track of things yourself. But I will have the key due dates, and you can see the calendar in a quick snapshot there. All the due dates, I've put everything in there. So if you want to check and see what things are coming up, you'll be able to see those there. Okay, let's go back up now to the top toolbar again and click on Content. And you'll notice here you can also access the discussions and the quizzes. The only quiz in this course is the syllabus quiz, so you're probably not going to use that very often. We don't use drop boxes, so you won't be using that. But you could do the discussions from here. I suggest that you go through the content to get the discussions, and the weekly schedule of assignments that are due contains tells you the unit in which the discussions are located. But this is another way for you to get to it. Okay, and then let's also explore up here communication. There's an option here if you wanted to chat with other students in the class. The discussions are available here. If you want to send me an email, you would use it here. We're not using groups. You could explore news. And then the other one I wanted to show you was the reports. You can see your grades here. We don't use attendance in an online class. And then user progress would show you how you're moving through the items that are included within D2L. I would remind you that the Mymathlab work is not going to be tracked in here because it's in a different system. But the grades I will bring over once a week after a due date, so you'll be able to have a snapshot of what your current grade is in the course. Okay, let's go back to the handout that I showed you. This is all the things that we just went through. And I just want to mention that it's really, really critical that you get the Mymathlab Access Kit as soon as possible during this first week of class. Because you're going to have assignments due and you don't want to get behind from the very beginning. When you go to the Mymathlab website, here's a link to it. Here's the course ID that you need to get registered. And in the introductory materials in our course, let me go back over here for a second. And remember, okay, I'm going to go back over here to the content. So if you go back into that introductory materials folder again, if you remember, I mentioned that there were materials here on how to get registered in Mymathlab, so you might want to take a look at the instructions here. It is possible to have a temporary account for up to 2 weeks, so if you didn't receive your Access Kit yet or you're waiting for financial aid, you still should get registered, and that temporary account will stay active for 2 weeks. Okay, so let's go to the Mymathlab course, and let's take a look at what it looks like. So when you first come in, let me go back to okay, you're going to start on chapter contents, and you're going to see, there we go, okay, I'm trying to navigate around a little bit here. Okay, when you go to the chapter contents, you'll be able to see access to the ebook. So for instance, let me go to, oh, I don't know, chapter, I think I pulled up chapter 2. In the ebook, if you click on this Multimedia Ebook, and I have it opened up already because it takes a little bit of time to launch. This is the same thing as the printed book, so you have it as an ebook. You have tools up here where you can make notes and so forth. It's a really nice package. There's some built-in activities here. You try it, that'll allow you to test your concepts, whether your knowledge of the concepts. So the ebook is here for you. I do have section notes in Angel, which you may want to use in place of trying to read the textbook. They might be more helpful for you. It's really up to you what feels more comfortable for you. I've got too many windows open here. Here we go. Okay, so also we have a link here for your homework. This is we're in Mymathlab now. Okay, and if you get that message, just click continue. Okay, so here's what the homework looks like. Let's show all because you have tests in here too. So let's go back. Okay, so right now the first half of the class is opened up. In here you'll see little flags, and that tells you that there's prerequisites. So for these 3 homeworks, you need to complete this Intro to Mymathlab and get 100% before it will unlock those homeworks for you. Likewise, for each test, you need to get 60% on the associated homeworks for the test to unlock. So from this homework tab, you can actually get to just to homework, just to tests, or to everything. Okay, now one thing I wanted to show you, and let's just pull up a homework because I wanted to remind you that there are some great tools available, what we call learning aids. I'm just going to pull up one of the homeworks. I'm in section 2.3. I just happened to pick. So within the homework, on the right-hand side here, are what we call learning aids. And so if you're having trouble with a problem, and some of them have more than others, I'm just clicking through to see if I can get to one that has a video. Some of them have videos. This one has a video. Okay, help me solve this will actually help you solve the problem you see right here. And then at the end of that step by step, it will change the problem. View an example will work a similar problem. A video is obviously a video. This would take you to the section of the textbook where this topic is covered. Ask My Instructor sends me an email, and if you do choose that one, which is fine, try to give me an idea of where you're having trouble, and I will actually be able to see the problem that you worked on, and I will provide feedback to you from within the D2L email system. One other thing on your assignments here on the homework, I think I mentioned this. You need to get 60% on the homework to unlock the test. So if I go and show all again, and you have unlimited attempts on homework. As long as you access it once before the due date, you can go back and rework it at a later date. But again, you need to get 60% on these homeworks in order to unlock the quiz, or the test rather. You have 3 chances on the tests. They're based on pools, so you may not get the same questions on your repeats of the test. There are no learning aids available on the test questions, so you want to be ready, be prepared when you go to take the test. Okay, let's go back to your handout. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was your proctored midterm and final. They're proctored. Okay, I don't use ProctorU. Again, here's a link to the testing website. It's really important, if you're going to succeed in this class, you need to keep track of what's due when. And so here I've included that detailed weekly schedule here, so you can actually check off what's due and whether you've completed or not. So it shows you Mymathlab assignments, the discussions are in D2L, the assignments, Mymathlab, are the tests and the homework, and then the due date. They're always going to be due on a Monday at 11 o'clock, and I don't extend the due dates, so you need to keep on track with the dates when they're due. So I look forward to working with you. Use the course email if you have any questions about the class. And like I said, this will be an adventure for all of us since we're all using D2L for the first time.